Well, hey, my name's BJ. I'm one of your tour guides for New Orleans Secrets. And I thought I'd put a little video together that kind of talks about my favorite museums here in New Orleans. So take a minute and enjoy the top 10 museums. All right, number one, let's get this out of the way right off the bat. That's the National World War II Museum. It's been ranked in the top museums in the world. You heard me right, not just in New Orleans, not in the US, the whole world. It's continued to expand its exhibits since it opened in 1991, and they now include the Arsenal of Democracy, the Road to Tokyo, the Road to Berlin, Beyond All Boundaries, the D-Day invasion of Normandy, the U.S. Merchant Mariner Gallery, Bayou to Battlefield. All of these things are included. Also, there is the Boeing Center with the jaw-dropping collection of aircraft, and now the Higgins Hotel and Conference Center. If you're coming to town, put some time aside to visit. If you're a local and haven't visited, shame on you. You need to get out there and visit the National World War II Museum. Number two, New Orleans Museum of Art. Now, the New Orleans Museum of Art, NOMA, is the city's oldest fine arts institution. It opened on December 16, 1911, with only 9 works of art. Today, the museum hosts an impressive permanent collection of more than 40,000 objects. The collection is noted for its extraordinary strengths in French and American art, photography, glass, African and Japanese works, and it continues to expand and grow, making NOMA one of the top art museums in the South. And to me, what's outside the museum can be even more impressive than what's inside. And that would be the City Park Sculpture Garden. This garden occupies approximately 11 acres adjacent to the museum. Atypical of most sculpture gardens, this garden is located with a mature existing landscape of pines, magnolias, and live oaks surrounded by 2 lagoons. Conceived in 2003, the garden doubled its size in 2019 and has grown from its inception and has more than 90 sculptures. And guess what? It's free, guys. You pay to get in the museum, but the sculpture garden is free. So go to noma.org and take a look. We'll have the link below. All right, number 3 on the list. You're coming to New Orleans or you're visiting, trying to learn about your own history. You got to visit the New Orleans Jazz Museum. This is housed in the historic Old U.S. Mint, strategically located at the intersection of the French Quarter and the Frenchmen Street Live Music Corridor. The New Orleans Jazz Museum is in the heart of the city's vibrant music scene. The Jazz Collection chronicles the music and careers of the men and women who created, enhanced, and continue in the tradition of New Orleans jazz at the local, national, and international level. It consists of instruments, pictorials, sheet music, photographs, records, tapes, manuscripts, and all kinds of other items, ranging from Louis Armstrong's first cornet to a 1917 disc of the first jazz recording ever made. It includes the world's largest collection of instruments owned and played by important figures in jazz. Trumpets, cornets, trombones, clarinets, saxophones, they've got it all. I think it's a great starter finish to any day as it sits as an anchor point to the French Quarter. You can either start there in the morning and then work your way along, or have that as your pinnacle at the end of the day. It's part of the Louisiana State Museum system, so I'll have a link to all their museums below. All right, number 4 is the Pharmacy Museum. This is located in the French Quarter at 514 Charter Street. It's a step back in time as it was the home and business of the first licensed pharmacist in America. It began operating in the early 1800s. It has exhibits that show globes, opium, perfumes, cosmetics, voodoo potions, questionable medical practices, surgical instruments, soda fountains, prescriptions, and compounding agents from that time period. Just think you could get you a soda and some opium all at the same place. At $5 for a self-guided tour, it's one of those things you'll walk away from going, wow, was that worth it? I didn't really expect that. Check out pharmacymuseum.com. Number 5 on our list is the Backstreet Cultural Museum. Now, the Backstreet Cultural Museum officially opened its doors in 1999. However, its origins can be traced back 3 decades to when Sylvester Francis paraded with the Gentlemen and Leisure Social Aid and Pleasure Club. A man photographing the parade wanted Francis to pay $35 for his own photograph. To avoid such costs in the future, he bought both a Super 8 camera and a still camera and began documenting carnival celebrations, second-line parades, and jazz funerals throughout the area. Today, the Backstreet Cultural Museum holds the world's most comprehensive collection related to New Orleans' African-American community-based masking and processional traditions, including those Mardi Gras Indians, jazz funerals, social and pleasure clubs, baby dolls, and skull and bone gangs. Located in the Treme neighborhood, just blocks from Armstrong Park, it's one of those places you'll never find if you weren't tipped to it by a local or someone who's been to it before. Now, number 6, I put two giants in the same block. This is going to be the Cabildo and the Presbyterian. Technically, they're two separate museums with different things to see, but I thought since they bracket the St. Louis Cathedral, I would put them together. Let's start with the Cabildo. This building has had a hard but interesting life all on its own. We'll dive into that in a completely separate episode. But today, specifically talking about the museum, it has exhibits about the history of Louisiana from its settlement all the way through the Reconstruction era, and about the heritage of the ethnic groups who have lived in this state. If we move down to the Presbyterian, its two permanent exhibits tell two sides of an ongoing Louisiana story. One of celebration and one of resilience. First is Mardi Gras. It's carnival time in Louisiana, giving you a look at Mardi Gras history, throws, costumes, and once you finish with that, you move on to Living with Hurricanes, Katrina and beyond. This exhibit tells of the rescue, rebuilding, and renewal of the city of New Orleans. If you see these two museums, both part of the state museum system in that order, I feel you get a great look at our history, love, loss, all wrapped together here in the Big Easy. Number 7, Children's Museum. After more than 30 years in downtown New Orleans, the Children's Museum up and moved on us. They moved to City Park into a brand new 56,000 square foot location on a lagoon. I'd move on to a lagoon. This place is jaw-dropping. Everything is interactive, hands-on, and just downright cool. If you have young people, you've got to go see it. You can visit them at www.lcm.org. All right, next up is number 8, Confederate Memorial Hall. This hall contains over 5,000 historical artifacts, including several rare Civil War items. It holds the personal effects Braxton Bragg and PGT Beauregard, as well as over 140 regimental and other Confederate state flags. It doesn't matter if you're from the North or the South to appreciate the deep historical importance of this museum. I'll put a link below so that you can follow up with them. Number 9, this is the Southern Food and Beverage Museum. They have a mission to explore the culinary history of the American southern states to explain the roots of Southern food and drink. Their exhibits focus on every aspect of food in the South, from the cultural tradition to the basic recipes and communities formed through this food. If you're a visitor and love food, if you're visiting here and you don't love food, what are you doing? You need to get over there and get some insight. If you're a local, go and enjoy some amazing pieces of our past. You can find them at southernfood.org. All right, here we are at number 10. For me, that's going to be the Historic New Orleans Collection. This collection is a museum, research center, and publisher dedicated to preserving the history and culture of New Orleans and the Gulf South. I can't even begin to tell you all the cool exhibits they have, both permanent and rotating. The art, history, and ability to research makes this French Quarter gem well worth the time to visit. You can visit them at www.hnoc.org. So that was 10. Well, and maybe we'll throw you a bonus one. How about Mardi Gras World? Now, this isn't listed as a regular museum, more as a bonus, because technically it's a tour and not a museum. But if you've already visited the history of Mardi Gras at the Presbyterian, this rounds things out by showing you how these amazing rolling pieces of art are made and what it takes to make them year after year as they parade. I hope we gave you some places to look at and research for your next visit to the Big Easy. If you have any questions, you think we missed something, let us know in the comments below. And thanks again for being part of our Big Easy life.